Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to be talking specifically about box stats. That's going to be the stats that are added onto gear. For example, lock, stagger, defense penetration 20. We're going to talk about in what situations they stack, which is the best way to optimize them, and how they function with the kind of added effect now and added complexity of TMR runes. So let's go ahead and dig in. So I have two different pages here. I have the no page and I have the yes page. But before I get into the specifics of why, let's define for everybody what a box stat actually is, because there is some confusion on that. So taking a look at Lock's Dagger, you have the basic stats of the gear. These are separate from the box stats, and these we would just call basic stats. Now, we also down below have what's called additional abilities in game. This would be what we consider box stats, right? So this would be defense penetration or defense piercing rate up 20. That would be the box stat for Lock Stagger. Taking a look at the Black Garb +5, the box stat is going to be defense piercing rate up 20, evasion +10. Then when we look at augmented TMRs, all the passives for TMR runes are considered box stats. So that's going to be anything that you have re-rolled as a passive. In this case, for me, it's missile attack resistance up, light attack resistance up, spirit piercing rate up, luck 4%, slash attack resistance piercing rate up, etc., etc. Now, this is separate, right? Box stats are separate than what is called the set bonus for trust runes. So this would be the bonus you get for setting 3 of the same type of runes. That just happens, the set bonus hits a different line overall. So you don't need to worry about the set bonus for your trust runes because it's just gonna fall and hit a different category. So why are we talking about this right now? Why are we talking about box stats, and why are things kind of so confusing? And it's a combination of the fact that box stats do not stack with each other, and we're getting a lot of gear that potentially stacks with other gear that a lot of newer players or less hardcore players might make the mistake of putting together. A great example of this would be Lock's New Dagger. Lock's New Dagger gives defense piercing rate up 20. This is really great. The Black Garb also gives defense rate up 20 and defense piercing rate up 20 and evasion 10. However, with this set on Lock right now, Lock is only benefiting from +20 defense penetration, not +40, because the box stats do not stack with each other. So essentially, this dagger, having Lock's Dagger on him, is only beneficial with the attack bonus on it. So in this situation, you would probably want to swap out Mage Masher to get a lot more potential damage from Lock. Similarly, over here on Pumpkin Spice Frederica, we have the wonderful Spine Blade +5, which gives defense piercing rate up 20. And we also have equipped defense piercing rate up 10, Shinra Bangle. Now, this is a bit of a different situation. Because the Spine Blade has a higher defense piercing rate, that's the one that's going to be prioritized for the box stat. So Pumpkin Spice Frederica is going to get +20 defense penetration, not +30, right? Very similar to Lock. And that defense piercing rate up +10 from Shinra Bangle is effectively useless. So this is how box stats kind of work in the long run. And you can see how this could be, particularly with TMR runes, where you have a variety of different abilities that you're placing on them. This could completely change how you gear your units, right? If you consider, for example, in a TMR rune, that every single TMR rune has a potential on the offensive side, you could put a basic defense piercing rate up +10, basically. That would effectively make it so that Shinra Bangle +5, if you have defense piercing rate up 10 and if you have the critical damage rune, is effectively useless. So depending on your trust runes and passives that you have set, because they're going to act, kind of fall into the box stat category, are going to complicate your gear choices significantly. Golbez, as one final example, with magic attack resistance up. This armor gives magic attack resistance 10. I also have him with the Bale Gauntlet, which is magic attack resistance up 8. These will not stack. He'll only get a total of plus 10 magic attack resistance. And that's kind of overall the no-nos of this system. And there's a lot of nuances right now to talk about, and you could go much deeper with the Trust Rune system and be like, you know, potentially, depending on the unit in this situation, potentially no weapon might actually be better in some situations. But that's a different discussion that I think may not be fully primed for this video yet. It's a very, like, you really have to weigh, like, understand how modifiers function and how different things interact with each other. But let's take a look at what would be considered a good set of gear here. And let's start with Golbez, all right? We just changed the weapon, right? So we gave him guard stick plus 5. He's going to get magic attack up 15, magic attack resistance up 8. Nice. And then we also gave him Alexandrite ring so that he gets all elemental attack resistance up 5 and accuracy up 20. So now he's going to be magic resistant, right? You cannot stack magic resistance, but you can stack magic resistance and all elemental attack resistance. And potentially, you know, maybe you could try and do something like area of effect resistance on this, right? So that is an example for Golbez of how to think about gearing him. Now, does that make the Knight Armor and the Bale Gauntlet completely worthless in the grand scheme of things? No, it does not. These pieces of gear, it's very similar to understanding and having a very large toolbox of horizontal gear progression, and you're literally picking and choosing what piece of gear is going to be best for you in certain situations. Pumpkin Spice Frederica, for example, we kept the Spine Blade for that defense penetration up 20, but what we did is we changed out the Shinra Bangle for Prompto's wristband, right? Gives a little bit more crit, gives Maneater up on physical attack. This is arguably a upgrade. You could say, though, if Pumpkin Spice Frederica had a 100% critical hit rate, the critical damage probably would have been, you know, on par with this, but this is more of a guaranteed upgrade, and this is just really to showcase an example of how you would adjust and change things based off of your TMR augmentation system that's come out. And I really think we'll see things like Prompto's Bangle become more prevalent because you can't get Maneater up on your runes. So I think we're going to see things like Prompto's wristband, we're going to see Alexandrite ring, we're going to see this type of stuff make a bit of a comeback in the game, just because you can't get those abilities on TMR runes, so they are exponentially more valuable in terms of being able to equip and use on your character. Very similar with unit attack resistance as well. Now, Locke, of course, we decided to keep Locke's dagger on him, of course, so he gets that defense penetration 20. And instead of putting Black Garb on, we put Winter Coat plus 5. It's another great piece of evasion gear, gives light attack resistance up 10, evasion up 10, and it gives evade 29. So he's going to benefit from the evasion. He's going to benefit from the light attack resistance up. So overall, a good choice. And we kept bells on him. Now, if I wanted to change this around, I totally could. Let's say I wanted him to deal more damage, right? Let's just say, you know, because he has defense penetration and evasion now. If I wanted him to deal more damage, I could put Black Garb on him, right? And then I could change out his weapon. I could put Mage Masher in, right? Because Mage Masher is going to give slash attack up 15. So in this situation, I now have slash attack 15 and defense penetration 20 and a little bit of evasion, whereas opposed to previously I had defense penetration 20, a little bit more evasion and light resistance. So these subtle changes are things you're going to have to think about. And again, with TMR rune augmentation, you're going to have to consider what TMR runes you have equipped on your TMRs. We do have a dagger coming out, which is going to be Little Leela's dagger in the near future, which will have a reduced counter percentage on it. And that is one of the, I would say, one of the really good ones you can get on your TMR runes right now. And it's only going to come with slash attack 10. So it's interesting to consider, you know, as we're looking into the future. Joker's weapon is another great example of a dagger that gives, I think it's slash attack and missile attack on it, where it only gives plus 10 each. So the weapons are kind of transferring into this world where they synergize really well with trust runes for the next couple of months, and then we get plus 6 weapons and things just go completely out the window. So I hope this video helped you guys. I hope if you are a new player, this helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comment section down below. I will answer, or come in my Discord and drop the questions there. And I will see you guys next time.